Okay, should we get started? All right, so before I get started, guys, I want to ask you, like, how was your lab experience? Was it good? Was it bad? Any comments?
Can I speak?
Yeah, speak.
It was good overall. I just felt like if we, let's say, want to do a code check, it's kind of hard over video, but the rest was good.
Okay, okay. So, okay, this is the policy for the lab. The attendance for the lab is mandatory for everybody. You don't need to submit any lab. There is no, you don't need to submit the exercises, neither the tasks written in the lab. So there will be no submission for the lab. What I do recommend is preparing the lab beforehand. And whenever you're done all of your lab exercises, you can ask the TA. So she will break, or he will break, put you in a break, like a breakdown room, and you can show your solution to him or her. All right. So the policy for the lab is as the following. If you attend the lab, you will get half of the grade. If you finish the tasks and the exercises, you get the full grade. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Any comments about the course in general? No comments? You okay? I can't see like who raised his hand or her hand, so you can speak up.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think it's possible you can give us the PowerPoint slides before class so we can just jot down things quickly and then also watch the lectures and stuff?
Okay. Let me ask you something. Do you like an interactive lecture or a boring lecture?
Interactive.
So I do have exercises in my slides. If I give it to you, what's the point from assigning those exercises to you at the lecture time? You got it?
Yep.
But what I can promise you is I will upload the recording as well as the material, the same day that the lecture took place. Deal?
Deal.
Any other comments?
For the labs, do we have to finish it that day to get the full marks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Professor, I had a question as well.
Yeah, you can.
So I completed the lab on the day it was out. When do the marks get posted for it?
This week.
This week? Okay, thank you.
I thought this lab wasn't getting graded.
No, the lab will be graded. Assignment will not be graded.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, this is like from me. Everybody will get the full mark.
Sorry, but I have one question.
But
we did, there's like different groups for the labs. We did the first lab last week, and we
there
didn't
was no lab last week. Sorry to interrupt you. There is no lab last week.
We did the lab 0 for the turtles and stuff.
I think he means Monday.
Do you mean Monday?
Yeah.
So we're still this week.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, we did the first lab on Monday, and we didn't get any marks or something. We just get like an F. Everybody got like a default.
The default grade is an F. However, like the TA will give you the full mark. Anybody who attended the lab 1 who will get the full mark. But starting from lab 2, you have to come prepared to the lab, ask the questions to the TA after she gives you the session, and show her the full solution. Okay, don't show her the solution one by one, because I attended one like 2 sessions, and I see you guys you rush to show the solution for each exercise, but I would prefer showing here the solution for both, like for all the exercises that you have.
And I thought, yeah, okay, I'm good with that. But I thought also that the assignments were the ones that would be graded. Maybe I mixed up some things.
No. The lab itself will be graded. The assignment 0 is a mock-up assignment. It's used to introduce you to the Brightspace submission and how you can do the submission. Because the submission rule will be followed for all the assignment throughout the semester.
Okay.
You need to provide, the assignment number, your student ID, to zip it and then upload that file.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So we'll get like
But if there is no time
0.25 marks for showing up, and then 0.25 marks or 0.25 marks for finishing the questions in the lab.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So what if there is no time to show our work? What's gonna happen?
I will assign 2 TAs at the session, so we'll make sure that you can show your lab work. Okay.
Hello, Professor. I have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Honestly, as I haven't had any Python background, the lab was somehow ambiguous for me. At the start of the session, I thought I didn't know really much things about the Python, but I had to submit some assignments, and there was a ambiguity for me. What should I do?
Okay, lab one does not reflect whatever we studied at the course so far. So did you understand what we explained at lecture 1 and 2?
Yeah, I understand.
Then you're good at Python so far.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
One last comment, feedback, suggestion. Yeah.
I was just, you said assignment 1. You meant like assignment 0, right? The one that
assignment 0, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, so let's get started, guys. Okay, so when it comes to variable and assignment, just as a variable is a name, storage location in the computer program. There are many different types of variable, each type used to store different things. So we have, I've shown you, so far we covered the integer type, we covered the float type, and we covered the Boolean type. Okay, so you can define a variable by telling the compiler what is the value of that variable in Python. You don't need to explicitly specify or call the constructor to assign the value in Python. However, similar to C++ or Java, if we if we write integer and without with empty parentheses, and we assign it to x, this will be x will be equal to 0. Okay, if we did y float empty parentheses, this will give us what? Y equal to 0.0. Okay, similarly, if we did z here equal to list, okay, and inside it, this is the calling the constructor, and this will return an empty list. Okay, empty list. This is similar. This is equal to specifying that this is an empty list. Okay, and this is similar to specifying x equal to 0. All right. Okay, so you can use the assignment statement to place a value into a variable. So the assignment statement is taking place as the following. This is the variable itself, and here is the expression. That expression can be a mathematical, okay, or can be just like, assigning a value itself. So like when the interpreter see this kind of a statement, what will happen first? It will evaluate whatever in the expression according to the precedents we covered in the previous lecture. And after that, the final variable will be what will be stored, the final value will be stored to that variable, and each type will be determined based on the evaluation of that expression. Is that clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes. Can I just share my screen for 1 second, please? It's important.
How important?
To make things absolutely clear, I need to share my screen for 1 second.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Could you let me share?
$5. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm talking about here. Assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3.
Yeah.
Each one is worth a percentage. You said that the assignments are not graded. That's why I was confused.
No, assignment 1 will be graded. Assignment 0 is a mock-up assignment.
Okay, so the other assignment that you're gonna post later are everything is graded.
Everything is graded.
Okay, because you said the labs are graded and the assignments were not graded, so I was confused.
No, the assignment in lab 1 is not graded.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys.
Professor?
Yeah.
I just had one question similar to that one. So today I had a lab from 8:30 to 11:20, and I was also doing the turtles assignment for assignment 0. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it done in time. I had a part of it done, and my TA told me that you could get it done and submit it later, as in like later, maybe next week, but she's not sure.
Okay. Did you attend the lab?
Yes.
Do you know how to do the both exercises?
I'm working on it, so yes, I do know.
Okay, then you will get the format.
Okay. Okay.
But lab 2, you have to show your work on time. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, guys. So let's take a look at like some example here. So if I have x equal to 3 and then I evaluated x, it's going to give me 3. Multiply x by 4, this will give me 16. But this is, okay, let's clear all the whatever I wrote here. Erase all the ink. But look what will happen here. If I evaluated y, what I'm going to get an error. And this error is called naming error. This message is naming error because I have never defined any variable equal to y. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, but it's like 12, not 16.
4 times 3 is 12.
Okay, it's a typo.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, sorry, it's a typo, okay? Thank you for catching it up. Okay, guys, so now if I say y equal 4x and I evaluate y, it's gonna equal to 12, okay? All right?
Sorry, why does it say, why is it 6.0? Is it a float now?
No,
or?
no. It's 12. It's 12. You can try it yourself. Okay? So I'm gonna I'm gonna fix this. Okay, so if an existing variable is assigned a new value, that value replaces the previous content of the variable. So it's like supposedly, if we have cans per pack equal to 6. So what will happen first? first we have to evaluate what is here. This is the first line that the interpreter will do. And then we'll assign 6 to cans per pack. Then after that, 8 will override the value that is, stored in cans per pack, okay? So this is the sequence of the execution that happens in the memory, okay? Now, let's say that we said cans per pack equal to cans per pack plus 2. So what will happen is the last value that I stored in cans per pack, which was 8, I'm gonna add it to 2, and this will equal to 10. And after that, I will assign the value to the new value to cans per pack, okay? Now, if I say that 8 multiplied by 2.0, so what will happen, it will show me like 16.0, and cans per pack will automatically change from the integer to the float type, okay? Okay, so the data type is associated with the value, not the variable itself. Because as we can see here, look, tax rate equal to 5, this is an integer. Then if I say tax rate equal to 5.5 and evaluated tax rate will become a float. If I write type, tax rate, this will become a float, okay? Now, if I say tax rate is equal to quote, 3, and okay, or it's equal to John, okay? This will become a string, okay? So if you use a variable and it has an unexpected type, an error will occur in your program. So let me show you an example of that, okay? But before we dig deeper, let's before we dig deeper and show you a first program for today's class, let's take a look at the naming rules for the variable itself. So in order to name the variable, now if we say, I would like to name can volume, okay? So should I write CV or can volume? Or tax rate, should I mention TR or tax rate? Should I specify tax rate or TR?
I would specify.
Okay.
Tax rate.
Tax rate, exactly. So we have to provide short and meaningful names, okay? So try to avoid having naming the variable in the context of your program in a way that is just a short letter, okay? So in that case, what we have to do is either we use, if we would like to, because in Python, we cannot use a space. So in that case, we can use either underscore to separate, the multiple word, or we can use the camel case capitalization. Now, with regards to the ruling itself, variable name must start with the letter or underscore character. Variable name cannot start with the number itself, okay? And you can't use special symbols like $, like the modulus notation, or the exclamation mark, as well as spaces are not permitted, okay? And one last thing, and which is not written here, you can't use the reserved Python word to assign a variable. For instance, we can, later on, we will see some kind of built-ins statement as well as built-ins function like if, so we cannot write f equal to 5 because f is a keyword that is used to specify a conditional statement in Python. Okay? So a tricky thing here, names cannot start with the digit though. Digits is allowed as long as you start your variable by underscore or by a letter, okay? And in Python, Python is a case-sensitive language. So if you have A1, it's different than capital A1, okay? Clear?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's take a look at this. My underscore x2 equal to 21. If I evaluate it, will give me 21. Now, if I say 2x equal to 22, even though like I'm following the rules, but because I started with a number, I'm gonna get a syntax error, okay? Now, so if I would like to specify a variable called new temperature, so it's better to write new temp than nt, okay? And I use the underscore as a delimiter to separate between the two words, okay? Or I can use the camel case. The camel case means that you capitalize each word, okay? And that's pretty much exactly what are the rules that you have to to follow. Just remember, a good programmer will use a variable name that reflects its use. Okay? Okay. So let's give more examples. So can volume, it's okay to have it. Okay, X is okay to have it. Okay? Here, can volume, it's different than can volume like 1. Why? Because can, first of all, there is no number, as well as we started by a capital letter. 6-pack, it's like, it has a syntax error because it starts with the number. Can space volume, this is what, guys? This is an error because we have a space. Class, okay?
It's a reserved word.
It's a reserved word. Thank you so much. And when it comes to the last statement, I can't use special character like the dot and the float division. Okay. So, like here as a programming tip, use this descriptive variable name. So which is better, salary equal 100 or S equal 100? Both will do the job, but for other programmers or other people to read your code and understand it perfectly, let's try to use a meaningful name for your variable, okay? This is important when the programs are written by more than one person, okay? Are we clear?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I want all of you guys to open idle or whatever interpreter that you have, create a new file, and do the following statements.
Sir, I think you forgot one of them in the second tax rate when you're assigning 5.5 to the tax rate, the spelling, it should be like the case of the tax rate is wrong. should be tax rate with capital R, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everything here is intentional. So who finished?
Me.
Okay, can you share your screen with us? Okay, so run it. What happened here? Okay.
Sorry.
Just okay. I would like you to go back to the file and do do here at the last statement.
Yeah.
Put like a hash at the last statement. Okay, perfect. Now run the code. Okay, so the code has no issues whatsoever. Okay, but however, if we try to execute the last statement, can you uncomment the last statement, Aaron?
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have an error. Do you know why we have an error?
Because it's a string.
Exactly, because we're trying to add string to an integer. Okay? So, adding two strings together is called concatenation. And it doesn't work because we have here the other operand, which is 5, is different than the type of the tax rate, which is string. Now, Aaron, if it's possible, just 5 itself, change it to string by adding, yes. No. Just the number itself. 1 comma. It's okay. 1 comma. Plus. Quote. 1 quote.
Yeah.
1 or 2. It's okay. 5.
Yeah.
Number
Just
5.
a number 5. Oh, okay. I see.
Now we don't have an error. Okay? So thank you, Aaron. You can stop your sharing, buddy.
I'm trying to. Okay.
Unmute yourself, please. Okay, so once you have initialized a variable with a value of a particular type, you should take great care to keep storing values of the same type in the variable, okay? Because as I mentioned, if you change the value, what will happen? Python automatically will change the data type of that variable. Now, so similar to what we did, if we change line 8 to here, like here, I did it like with 2 exclamation mark, or with the 5 itself, the program will run perfectly. Why? Because we have used the concatenation process, which is, adding 2 strings together. And this is what we will cover shortly, okay? Is there any question?
No. Yeah, I just want to know, like, if the assignment means variable plus expression.
What do you mean, variable plus expression?
Like, the variable equals, like, its expressions. The whole thing is called assignment?
Yeah, it's assignment statement called.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the equality, when you put the equal, it's called an assignment statement.
Okay.
All right. And you can assign it to an expression, or you can assign it to like a value,
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, those who raise their hands, please speak up. You don't want to speak? It's fine. Let's move to the.
Hear me?
Yeah?
Hello?
Yes?
Okay, sorry. So if you put a variable to a number or a number to a variable, vice versa, you can't use that again when you're computing mathematical equations. This is what you're saying?
No, what I was trying to say to you is that, you know, like in Python, we can change the value of the variable without worrying about the data type itself, because the value of that variable will determine the new data type. As you saw, tax rate was an integer. We changed it to a float with a simple assignment. We change it to like to a string with a simple assignment statement, and that's it.
But in the exercise, you put a 5, and that's what created the error, and then you put in.
Yes, because you know, what's your name?
My name is Caitlin.
Caitlin. Because Caitlin, tax rate here is a string. Am I right? Here, we store it as a string. The last statement here. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
And we added a string to an integer. So we have a different data type and we are adding them together. This will cause an error.
Oh, because it's not actually like, but if you did it as like tax rate equals 3, and then you put tax rate plus 5, it wouldn't create that error.
Yes, if the other operand here, 5, is a string, we will not have an error.
Okay, it's only when you put an integer and a word.
String. Yeah, integer and the word. Okay.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay. So in addition to what we have covered for the data type, data types like integer, float, boolean, we have strings. Okay. So Python support string values by itself. Those like the class string is a built-in class that has been implemented, and we can just use it as a user. Okay, so as you can see, to specify a string, you have to use the whatever like inside the code is considered a string. And you know, like now, inside the code, you can put anything like special character, whatever you want. Okay. So if I say V equal to quote $100, that and close the code, this will run perfectly without any error. Okay. So the string is a sequence of character that is used as a data, and it will be enclosed in a single double quote marks. So you saw your friend when he add 5, he used the double marks. And in Python, we have a special string that can be encoded using 3 quotes. And this is used for having multiple lines string. Okay. Look, suppose that you want to write a poem and assign it to a variable. You know, that poem is long, has multiple lines. You should use 3 what? Okay, let me show you. Let me show you here. So Caitlin, I don't know if what asked a good question. And then after that, we can close it with 3 quotes, okay? All right. So we can use 1 quote, double quote, and 3 quotes, okay? Now, we should cover the string operation. So similar to the arithmetic that we have covered in numbering, in numbers, we have some operation that we can do in strings. So the first operation is the n. So n will make sure that the literal of a string, is it a substring of, you know, string X or not? So let's say like here, you know, suppose that O like string S has rock, okay? And we're checking if O is in string S. This will give us a true. So the value of this operation will return a Boolean Boolean value that will tell us if the whatever n specified in the leftmost side operand is inside that string. And similarly, the X not in S, okay? Like similarly, like we have O as a literal here in T. So as you can see in a string T, we don't have an O. That's why we got false. Now, if we would like to add two strings together, it's called a concatenation, and it's simply an addition operation between two operands, S and T, okay? And the value of the this addition will equal to the two strings together without any space, okay? So as you can see here, if I add S plus T, it's like it will evaluate to rock climbing. And I can here explicitly put a space between the two strings by having what? An empty string. Okay, so S plus empty string plus T will equal to rock space climbing. Now, you know, S multiplied by N, given that both S and N are string values, will concatenate N or S multiple times. For instance, 30 multiplied by what? Multiplied by the underscore will give you a 30 underscores together. And please pay attention that S here or N here is what, guys? Is a number. So when we concatenate N copies of a string, we can use a number, okay? The indexing operator used to what, guys? Used to access each letter in your string. So if I do like, okay, so if I do like S and use the indexing 0, this will give me R, okay? And the length of the string, it's a function called length, and will give you how many characters does the string S, which is inside the brackets, has, okay? So the length of T, as you can see, is equal to, let's count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So to view more operators, you can use the help and specify str in the parentheses. So, you know, help str will give you all the operations supported by the class string in Python, okay? Do you have any question?
Sir, I have a question. Why is S greater than T?
Yeah, S greater than T here.
Yeah.
Okay. When we are when we comparing two strings together, thank you for this question. This is a smart question. When we compare two strings together, we will evaluate each character, okay? So R is coming in the ASCII coding after C, okay? So this automatically will give you true. So if we have a string of equal characters, we will evaluate them based on the occurrence of each character, okay? So according to the alphabetic, all right? So when we compare R to C, R comes after C. That's why it's gonna give you true, okay? Now, if let's say that like S is less than T, so C comes what? C here comes before R, so that's why, you know, that's why this statement is false, because R is greater than C. Okay?
Then I have another follow-up question.
Yeah.
So if with that logic, does that mean that if I take any word and compare it to another word, let's say I take house and car. So that means that house would be automatically greater, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what if I take two of words that are of starting with the same letter, like let's say car and climbing?
Okay,
So does that mean climbing is
we
greater?
go in sequence. Okay, we go in sequence. So climbing, we start by climb. Okay, it's the same thing. Am I right?
Yes.
But since we have ing, it is greater than the empty strings that comes after the climb. So climbing will be greater than climb.
Okay. So, and they also will have to evaluate the second letter if the first letter is the same.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But in this case of climb and climbing, aren't we like comparing the length of the string in this case?
No.
Because he said in climbing there's ing, which is more than climb, so it's greater. That's what I'm saying.
This will confuse the students. No, like we will compare each letters, and if we have a letter in the other word, meanwhile there is no letter when we reach to that index,
okay,
then yes, then that string has a greater value. Okay? Cool, guys?
Professor, what's the exclamation mark? Is it a factorial sign or something?
Exclamation mark, where is it? Here?
Yes.
Yeah, if you remember that in Python, if we will say not equal to, this is how we specify it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys. So go ahead and do this exercise. You have 3 minutes. Just to be at the same page, you have to do like the assignment operation first by specifying S1 is equal to good, S2 is equal to bad, S3 equal to silly. Okay? So how to solve A, guys?
I think we just have to say S3 equals colon silly colon and then print S3, right?
Or should we use the N operation? Am I right? We can say that this okay. For the first one, here, we can specify that LL between quotation and S3. Okay? For this one, we can say that a blank space, which is an empty string, is not, so exclamation mark in S1. The concatenation of S1, S2, S3 is simply an addition with all of the strings that I have. The blank space appears in the concatenation of S1, S2, and S3. So what I have to do is empty string in S1 plus S2 plus S3. The concatenation of 10 copies of S3, you can say 10 multiplied by S3. And for the last one, I can say just len S1 plus S2 plus S3. Okay? Let's
Is
see
it
this.
possible for you to like share your screen so you can actually see the code being written? Like share that part of your screen?
You mean this one?
No, like would it be possible for you to actually like type the code? I think some people are a little confused about what they're supposed to be writing.
I have already prepared it here. So if we did LL in S3, this will give us a true. So this is something similar to the shell itself. Let me do it quickly, okay? See? The student who asked, can you see my screen now?
Yes, thanks.
Okay, so let's evaluate this. Okay, now let's create a new code, which is, I would like to know if LL is in silly. Okay, so here I can say print LL in S1 or S3. Okay? So what will give me this one?
True.
I have to evaluate this first, then I'm gonna print it, okay? So this will give me true, okay? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back here, and empty string here, you know, an empty space does not appear in S1. So just simply like empty string, not in S1, and this will give me true. The concatenation of all of them will give us, you know, the values of S1 added to the value of S2, added to the value of S3. So what was S1? Good, bad, silly, with no spaces. Okay? So do we have an empty space in that addition? No, that's why we have false. Now, if I concatenate S3 10 times, so what does that mean? That silly will be shown 10 times, okay? 1 silly, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is the length of all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4 for S1, 1, 2, 3 for S2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for S3. So the total will be equal to 12. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. You have a question? No question. Okay, so the indexing operator. So the index operator is used to get a specific character to what? A specific character in my string, okay? So if I would like to get the value of A, so what should I do? So I can write as square bracket, and what is the position of A in my string?
First letter.
The first item has index 0, okay? The second item has index 1. Third item has index 2, and so on until we reach to the last item, which has the index of n minus 1, given that the like n is the length of that string, okay? So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? So if I would like to reach A itself, what I have to do, I can do as square bracket 0, which is the position of my letter in the string, and this will return me a substring that has the first character in my string, okay? Now, as you can see, we have a non-negative indexing here, okay? So what about P? How can I get P?
S square bracket
S1.
S
Or
square
S1 or S2.
Thank you. So S square 1 or S square 2, okay? L S square 3 and E S square 4, okay? So like suppose that we are doing it on the interactive shell. So S0 will give us what? A. S4 will give us E, okay? Now,
Excuse me?
what?
The capitalize here doesn't matter, right? If we want to print the lowercase a, it's impossible.
Impossible, because it corresponds to the first letter in your string, which is the capital here.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, may I ask a question?
Yeah.
So if we put each character of like apple in one variable, So that means that two of our variables have the same value. So is it like they are in the same position in the memory, and just like the idea of the pointer that's showing to that house is different, or it's like twice in there, or no, they're actually in the completely different place in memory?
They're in complete different places in the memory.
Because the character is the same.
It doesn't matter. Okay? Because the way that things are stored in the memory is as the following, okay? So here, S0 is pointing to a place that has an address of hexadecimal 0xFF, and that place in the memory has the value of A, okay? And like let's suppose of the case of S1, okay, it's in a place of 100, and it has the value of P. And when it comes to S2, it's another place. It's pointer. It's a pointer, okay. And the address of the memory storage here is 101, and it has the same value of P. Okay. Okay. So guys, let's talk about negative indexing. So what if I would like to reach to the last character, in my string without what? Without, going over the hassle of knowing the length of my string, okay? So in Python, we'll give you a powerful tool called the negative indexing, at which you can reach the last character by specifying the address of, or the position of -1. So S-1 will give you the last character, and -2 will give you the last second character. And, so the positive indexing will give you the character from left to right. The negative indexing will reach the character from right to left, okay? This is very powerful, given that later on I will teach you how we can use the input function to ask the user to input a string, and we don't know exactly what will be the length of that string. So if we would like to know what was the last character in that string, we can use the negative indexing, okay? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's solve this exercise together. So supposedly, what?
Sorry, I have a question. I was wondering if there's something like a cast as function in Python. So let's say we have something like a bigger set, a result that we're pulling, and we want to change its data type. Isn't there something, because I know in like SQL and stuff we have cast as functions, but is there something like that in Python?
Yeah, type conversion will be covered very soon.
Okay.
Okay. Now, okay, guys, suppose we have this string, which is basically the alphabetical characters till H, okay? And we would like to write an expression using the indexing operation to return the following string. So if I would like to return A, it's simply what? I can use both positive or negative. What's easier for me is to use the positive indexing. Am I right?
Yeah.
So it's S0. If I would like to use C, if I would like to return C,
3.
Thank you, 3. What about H?
Negative. Negative 1.
So H, I can use 7, or I can use what?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. And F?
C is not
Negative 2.
Excuse me, sir. Wouldn't C be 2?
Yeah, C is 2.
Yeah, wouldn't C be 2 instead of 3?
C is equal to 2, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so for F, it's -3 because this is -1, -2, and -3. Okay? Do we have any question? We're gonna revisit strings later on, but for now, you know, did you grasp what do I mean by string and the basic operation in strings?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, let's cover another data type called lists. Okay, so in addition to integer, Boolean, float, and string values, Python support lists. So the lists is multiple items enclosed with a square brackets. As you can see here, I have a list that has the animal or the pets type, and I simply, specify that this is a list by using the square brackets. Okay, and like a funny thing or like a good thing about the list, that the list can contain any data type as well as can contain another list inside, and the items in the list doesn't need to be like just numbers or strings or boolean. I can have a list that has the first item as a string, the second item as a boolean, the third item as a float, the fourth item as a list itself. So let me show you an example here. So as you can see, my list here, okay, so it has what? It has the first item is 0, the second is 1, the third is a string, okay? And the last item is a list inside the list, okay? Okay, guys, so that is for the list. Similar to the strings, we should cover the basic operation for the list, okay? So the first operation here is, suppose that we have this list and list that has 1, 2, 3, and list B has 0, 4. And the first thing is to check if an item is found in that list or not. So similarly, we use the in operation. So 4, is it in list? No, that will give us false. But is it in list B or not in list? This will give us a true. And if I say that 4 in list B, this will give me true. Now, concatenation also supported in the list, data type, as I can add two lists together, and you will see that what will happen is I'm gonna append the values of list B to the value of list A. So 1, 2, 3, and then 0, then 4, okay? And I can concatenate the list multiple times. Okay, so what will happen is I will repeat my list multiple times. So 1, 2, 3 will be like, will be repeated twice. So 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3. If I would like to reach an item in my list, I'm gonna use the indexing operation. And to get the first item is in my list here, which is 1, by using the position 0. And the second one will be like what? Will be the position 1, which will give me 2. And the negative indexing also is supported in the list data type. By specifying the -1, I'm going to get 3. And the length method also supported in the class list. So will give me the number of items, in my list, okay? Now, let's go back here. If I do length list here, how many items do I have here, guys? For this list, how many items I have?
Like 5 items?
Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And is it 5, 6, or 5?
No, 5.
5. Thank you so much. So this is an item itself, okay? regardless of it's a list inside the list, okay? Okay, so what, and we can get the minimum of the minimum value, minimum item in the list by specifying the minimum function. But however, in this case, your list has to have the same data type of items, okay? Otherwise, you will get an inconsistent return value. And the max item will give you the maximum item on the list, and the sum of the list will add all the items together. Now, again, to do these three functions, you know, we have to have the same data type in your in your list, okay? If you would like more help or more operation, you're supposed to type help list and close the parenthesis because I forget to close it here. Okay?
Sorry?
Yes?
If it's like a string, in order to give us the minimum, it will be based again on the alphabets.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And here, we should cover something called mutability. What do I mean by mutability? Guys?
Is it like deleting a certain like item in the list?
Okay, when I say list, sorry.
Good.
Sorry. So when I say lists are mutable and the strings are immutable. So what does that mean? That means that I can modify the items in my list. However, for strings, I cannot modify the letters in the string. Okay, let me give you an example. So I have ant, bat, you know, code, dog, elk. Okay. Now suppose that I wanna change the value of the third one because I have I have like a typo here. Instead of code, it's supposed to be cow. Okay. So if I change the value of the second item to become cow, you know, and evaluated my string, I'm gonna get the new value of the string. Okay. However, if I do that in for the list, if I do that in the string, I'm gonna get an error. Okay. So let's suppose that I would like to change the third character here. What will happen? If I say here, pet equal to W, this will give me what? A type error because I cannot modify any character in the string because strings are immutable. Okay. However, for lists are mutable. Is that clear?
So basically, if you made a typo, you have to manually change it.
You have to change the whole string.
Yes.
Okay. You cannot use the indexing to change the character itself.
But Professor, can you add more letters by like when you change a string? Can you say like from going from pod to cold? Can you add letters and take away, or is it not possible?
How?
Like, let's say I want to change cod, like in the original list, I had cod, but I want to add the letter L in. So I'll have to say.
In list?
Yeah.
Yes, you can do whatever you want in list.
Oh, okay. So adding and subtracting characters is okay.
Is okay. Like list can be modified, whatever. You can change cod to equal to 1 here. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Any question, guys?
Yeah, just a question about assignment 1. The syllabus said it's going to be posted tonight. Do we get any more information about that?
About assignment 1?
Yeah, it says it's going to be posted.
Yeah,
today.
tonight.
Okay.
Tonight. Yeah.
Okay, and then we're not working on assignments during the labs. We're doing different questions, right? Like just
Yeah,
practice
different questions. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay. So, okay, the list methods that we, as we covered, we have the length and the sum. The length will give you how many items, and the sum will add them together. But remember that they have to have the same data type, okay? Okay, and they are called with a list input argument because you don't need to reference the method itself. You know, like the argument that you're passing here, or the parameters that you're passing here, is the actual list itself. However, there is another method that are called on a list argument, on a list methods or functions. And in order to execute this kind of method, we have to use object-oriented referencing. So what does that mean? If I would like to add function append, okay, and function append to I want to add an item to my list itself, I have first to specify the variable, which is in my case LST, and then dot, which is the reference, and append, and then add the item. Okay? So have you noticed the difference between them? Here, the variable itself is the list itself, and here the variable is another data type that I would like to add it to my list. Okay? So here refers to a list object. LST refers to the list object. So let's say that this is called Caitlin, okay? I'm sorry, Caitlin, to pick on you. But Caitlin, so in order to append a new item to Caitlin list, I have to say Caitlin.append 7, okay? Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
So what does that mean? That means that method append cannot be called independently. It must be called on the object itself. Okay, so we have to have the object in order to call that method, that function. Okay, so let's see another type of methods that is supported by class list or by the data type list, like for now. So append will add an item to the list. Count will return the number of items occurrence in the list. Okay, let's say list count 3. How many times 3 happened in that list? It's 2 times. Like now remove 2, what will happen is I'm gonna pop out 2 from my list. So my list will be evaluated to 1373. And list pop, what will happen? Remove and return the last item in the list. So what was the last item here? If I do like pop, what's my last item? 3. So my new list will be equal to 137. That's it. Now, if I do reverse, what will reverse? It reverses the order of the list. So the last item will become the first item, and so on. Okay. So this is 137. It will become 3731. Okay. And list.index, what will do? It will return the index of the first occurrence of item in the list. So let's say let's take a look at list.index 3. Okay. What it gives me 0. What does that mean? That it never happened, or what? Are you following with me?
0 is the first position.
First position of 3 in my list. Thank you. Okay. And list.sort. Now list.sort is a function used to rearrange the items in an increasing order. So 1, 3, 3, 7. Okay. Now list.remove 3. Remove will delete the first occurrence of the item from the list. So if I say list.remove 3, I'm gonna delete this one, okay? So I will have 137. Pop will remove 7, so I will have 13. Okay, clear, guys?
Yep.
If I want to like add an item from like the first, for example, there's the list 1, 2, 3. I want to add an item before 1. Can I do like list dot append from maybe, and it will add the number, or I should like reverse the order, add the number, and then reverse it again?
Like append will add the item to the end of the list.
Yeah, if I don't wanna add the item in the end, if I wanna add the item like the start of the list.
To the start of the list, so you have to do the following. So you have to use the reverse, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I thought that there was like another keyword from maybe list.append the front or back, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, but like those are the methods that we are gonna stick to it. There is a lot of methods. If you type list, help list, you know, help parenthesis list, you will see a lot of methods, okay? But those are the methods that will stick to them so far. Okay? So if you notice, guys, methods append, remove, reverse, and sort do not return any value. Okay? So what they do is they play with the value of your they will rearrange or remove something, or sort it together, you know. However, the method pop, it removes and returns. You see that? The method account, it returns the number. Okay, so if we like say type list.pop and nothing like open brackets here, and evaluated that, this will give us an integer. Okay. However, if we say type list.append 7, this will return list to us. Okay. Okay. So I think we're done. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a class in 3 minutes.
Sir, may I add something?
Yeah.
So the thing that you said about the string, the type of string, that the strings are like mutable, or I mean we are not able to modify them.
Yes, we cannot modify the string.
But the class string has a method called replace that replaces 2 characters in the string. So I guess it is only like mutable for us if we want to like modify them manually, right? Because we can use that property of the class string to like.
Yes, if we would like to modify them using the indexing operation, they're immutable. They will give us an error. Okay.
Yeah,
but
so
using the method itself, the methods are created to make things easier.
So this concept of being mutable is only when we want to do something manually, not when the computer, like it is something like preset in the language, right?
Okay, let me go ahead and see when you what you're talking about here. The method itself.
Doctor, can I leave the meeting? I have a class.
Yes. The operation here, and so far we did not cover any method for the string.
No, I mean in general, the concept of something, it is like, because when we say something is, I think the term is immutable, right? So
immutable, yeah.
Yeah, the term immutable means that on the level of like user, instead of like the computer itself, nothing can modify that variable, right?
Nothing can modify the value of that variable. Yes.
Yeah, only like for instance, the interpreter that has some functions predefined.
Some built-in functions.
Yeah.
That's correct. But we don't want to confuse the students. You taught like you're walking in a thin ice now. Okay, so immutable means we cannot change it. Okay, that's for now. Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, I guess this will conclude our presentation, our lecture for today. I wish you a very wonderful weekend. Okay, have a nice day, guys.